Hello, and welcome to Mark's Leadership Lab, where technology and leadership come together to help you succeed. My name is Mark Griffith, and today we will be exploring the topic of project sponsor. Very critical role in the success of a project. I want to congratulate you. I hear that you've just been awarded a new project. That's a huge endorsement. The vice president wouldn't give you this responsibility if he didn't think you could handle it and that you could excel in it. So congratulations. And we know the most important thing is to start the project right. An element in starting the project right is to make sure we have a really good first meeting with that project sponsor. Project sponsor is going to be really eager to get this project started, to get the people lined up, and to make sure that his or her goals are understood and achieved. So it's your responsibility to have that crucial conversation and get to the bottom of what is important. So to start this off, I should probably give you a little background for those new to this area of exactly what a project sponsor does. The project sponsor advocates for the project at the highest levels of management, making sure that it achieves the strategic goals necessary. Two questions to ask about project sponsorship. Think about the best project you've ever run or been a part of. What kind of involvement did the project sponsor have? Think about how you might weave those lessons learned into your future projects. In this episode, we'll be investigating how to engage with the project sponsor on that initial conversation. I've put together on my Substack an STP, Situation Target Proposal, highlighting what you should consider when having that first conversation. On Substack, I've identified a list of questions that I would love for you to take into your conversation with the project sponsor. Because if we don't get the information right up front from the project sponsor, we're not going to be able to get their intent inserted into the project requirements. Once we have a full understanding of what that sponsor wants to achieve, once we have that documented, we can turn those into real requirements. And from those real requirements, we can convert those into testable and measurable tests. Tests that we can perform against our project and against the deliverables to make sure that quality is being achieved. It all starts with that initial conversation with a project sponsor. A document you really should be focusing on first, right up front as we kick off this new project, is the project charter. The project charter is essential in corralling all the thoughts necessary to start the project right. The project charter is where you will document the constraints, the assumptions, items, schedule, scope, high level that you want to achieve for this project. Making sure that you are lockstep with your project sponsor as this document is drafted so that their wishes are contained inside that document is the best way to succeed. I'm going to recommend also that along the line, about halfway through the project, you make sure that you bring that project sponsor into the conversation, into the project, into a formal project review with the whole team so that they can see first and foremost, front and center, that you heard them in the kickoff. You heard them in the initial project charter discussion, that their requirements, their wishes are documented and are being executed. In this midterm halfway checkpoint, make sure to include a % complete on each of the items that are being addressed, each of the requirements this project sponsor has given you, and show clearly whether you are succeeding, if you need any help at this stage. Assuming the project goes well, towards the end, we're going to do a formal test phase to make sure that all requirements are addressed and pass. It all ends up with a user acceptance test, as you know, with your study on the PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge. The project concludes successfully, and it's your turn to bring everybody to lunch. Celebrate the success, the team spirit of getting the work done on time, on schedule, on budget. Bring the project sponsor, invite the project sponsor to that celebration lunch. See if there are other key stakeholders that should be included. And in that project lunch, have as maybe a placemat or a handout, a flyer, a list of all the major requirements that you and your project team have achieved. And maybe at the very bottom of that sheet, in big, bold letters, say, the team is ready for the next assignment. Let's go. Having a strong relationship with your project sponsor is key. If you don't get a good understanding right up front of what your project sponsor needs, you're not going to have a successful project. So I hope you will take a few minutes, hop on over to my Substack where I've detailed a whole bunch of this information in writing, and I've added for premium subscribers a list of questions I would take into my project sponsors. It's so important that we start everything right up front. Thank you for your time. I wish you luck in that initial conversation with your project sponsor and in the documenting of their requirements in the project charter and throughout the project all the way through to completion. Have a wonderful day and thank you for your time. This is Mark's Leadership Lab signing out.